Picture this. Your doctor hands you a prescription, but instead of a drug name, it says move slowly, breathe, pay attention. You probably think they were joking, but in 2024, researchers published the most comprehensive evidence map of Tai Chi ever assembled. 26 systematic reviews covering 21 health conditions. 2 of those reviews concluded with high certainty of benefit, 16 more with moderate certainty. Pain, balance, blood pressure, depression, brain function, all from an ancient Chinese practice that looks to most Western eyes like slow motion dancing in the park. So the question I keep asking is this: if the evidence is this strong, why are we still treating it like an alternative? And what is it exactly that the science still can't explain? Welcome to the Wellness Bridge. I'm Gary Chen, physiotherapist and founder of GC Integrative Physiotherapy and Wellness on the Gold Coast. Today's guest has been practicing Yang-style Tai Chi since he was 7 years old, learning from his grandfather in Penang, Malaysia. He's now an exercise physiologist based in Brisbane, a 5th-generation practitioner, and one of the most thoughtful voices I know on the intersection of Eastern movement philosophy and Western sports science. Dr. David Lim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Gary. Honestly, any conversation that starts with a question about evidence gaps, that's my kind of conversation.
I thought you'd appreciate that. Let's get straight into it. So I want to start with something you said before, that the West has been studying Tai Chi for decades, but still largely misunderstands it. What's the core misunderstanding?
The core misunderstanding is that Tai Chi is an exercise. It's not. It's a system of learning, a system for teaching your nervous system how to pay attention. When Western research measures Tai Chi, it measures outcomes, blood pressure drops, balance scores, pain scores, and those numbers are real. The 2024 evidence map is remarkable. 33 studies showing a drop of over 6 millimeters of mercury in systolic blood pressure, 28 studies showing moderate pain reduction, but those are the outputs of something deeper. And that deeper thing is what most studies don't measure.
So what is that deeper thing?
Proprioception, interoception, the quality of your attention to your own body in space and time. Tai Chi trains you to notice, not just to move, and that distinction is everything. 2 people can do the same 24-form sequence and have completely different neurological experiences depending on where their attention is.
That resonates with me as a physio. I work with people post-injury who've lost that signal, they've lost body awareness. We call it proprioceptive deficit. And one of the hardest things to rebuild isn't strength, it's that sensory map.
Exactly. And Tai Chi is one of the few practices that systematically rebuilds that map, not by overloading the system, but by moving just slowly enough that you can feel everything, every weight shift, every joint angle change. That's the genius of it.
I want to go into the neuroscience here because it genuinely surprised me when I started reading it. We now have neuroimaging data showing structural brain changes in long-term Tai Chi practitioners. Can you walk us through what's actually happening in the brain?
So there are a few layers to this. The first is structural. Long-term practitioners show increased gray matter volume in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Now, the hippocampus is central to memory and spatial navigation. The prefrontal cortex handles executive function, decision-making, emotional regulation. These are regions that are extremely vulnerable to age-related atrophy, and Tai Chi appears to protect them.
And this isn't just correlation. It's not just that healthier people happen to do Tai Chi.
That's always the methodological challenge. But there are now randomized controlled trials, 6-month interventions, showing significant upregulation of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, compared to control groups. BDNF is your brain's growth hormone. It supports neuronal survival, synaptic plasticity, the formation of new connections. When Tai Chi raises BDNF, it's not a side effect, it's a mechanism.
And what makes Tai Chi neurologically different from, say, a brisk walk? because both are movement, both are beneficial, but you're saying something different is happening?
Great question. Aerobic exercise like walking or running primarily drives brain health through cardiovascular load, increased oxygen delivery, metabolic demand, and those effects are real and important. But Tai Chi does something that pure aerobic exercise doesn't easily replicate. It achieves meaningful neurological change at low to moderate intensity through a different route: autonomic rebalancing, heart rate variability modulation, attentional engagement. One neuroimaging study found that Tai Chi practitioners showed what they called decreased homotopic functional connectivity in the middle frontal gyrus. That sounds like a bad thing,
It does sound like something you don't want.
right? But it's actually a marker of neural efficiency. The brain is streamlining, it's doing more with less. Aerobic exercise tends to upregulate broad network activity. Tai Chi appears to refine and specialize it. Those are two different neurological outcomes from two different mechanisms. Both valuable, but not interchangeable.
And from a physiotherapy perspective, this matters enormously for falls prevention, because falls aren't just a muscle strength problem, they're a brain speed problem. The brain needs to react to unexpected perturbation. How does the evidence sit on that?
The meta-analyses are strong. Fall frequency reduced by around 24%, relative risk of 0.76 across multiple trials. Fear of falling reduced with a standardized mean difference of negative 0.83, which is a large effect. The timed up and go test, a gold standard clinical balance measure, consistently improves. And subgroup analyses suggest that practicing more than 3 times per week for sessions over 45 minutes yields the most significant gains.
I want to bring in a concept that I think sits at the heart of why Tai Chi works and why we struggle to study it. And that's Wu Wei, the Taoist principle of effortless action. Can you explain it and then tell me why you think it maps onto what neuroscience is now describing?
Wu Wei, it literally translates as non-doing, but it doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting without forcing, moving with the natural flow of things rather than against them. In Tai Chi, Wu Wei expresses itself as that quality of ease you feel in a master practitioner. They look effortless not because they're not doing anything, but because they've trained the nervous system to find the path of least resistance. There's no wasted tension, no fighting the movement.
And where does neuroscience meet that?
Neural efficiency, what the imaging studies are describing as decreased connectivity costs, as streamlined information transfer, as reduced metabolic overhead in motor planning, that is Du Wu Wei in the language of neuroscience. The brain, trained through Tai Chi, stops working harder and starts working smarter. And the mechanism isn't willpower or forcing, it's the opposite. It's sustained, gentle, attentive repetition, allowing the nervous system to self-organize.
I love that framing because it actually challenges a core assumption in Western rehabilitation, that effort equals progress, that you have to push through, work harder, increase load. But what you're describing is a model where the intelligence is in the attention, not in the force.
And it's incredibly liberating for patients who can't tolerate high load. Older adults with osteoporosis, people recovering from cardiac events, those with chronic pain where movement itself has become threatening. Tai Chi asks nothing aggressive of the body. It says, here is a safe container, come in slowly, and the body responds.
I want to make this actionable. If someone is listening right now and they're intrigued, but they have no access to a class, no Tai Chi teacher nearby, what 3 things can they start today?
All right, 3 things, and I'm going to make these ridiculously simple. The first, stand still. That sounds like nothing, but it's actually the foundation of Tai Chi. We call it Zan Zhuang, standing meditation. Feet shoulder width apart, slight bend in the knees, arms relaxed at your sides or held gently in front of you like you're holding a large ball. Eyes soft, gaze slightly downward, and you just notice weight distribution. Notice where you're gripping, where you're not gripping. Start with 2 minutes. Most people discover they have no idea what's happening in their own body until they stop moving.
And that's pure proprioceptive training right there. No equipment, no gym.
Exactly. Second, slow your transitions. Whatever movement you already do, walking to the kitchen, standing up from a chair, turning around, see if you can do it 20% slower. Don't stop. Just slow down. Pay attention to the weight shift before you move. That moment before movement is where Tai Chi actually lives. It's not about the postures. It's about the transitions.
That's such a practical reframe. Not a new exercise, just a new quality of attention to existing movement.
And the third one, breathe down. Most of us breathe into our upper chest when we're stressed or effortful. Tai Chi uses abdominal breathing. The belly expands on the inhale, contracts on the exhale. Pair this with your slow transitions. Inhale as you shift weight, exhale as you settle. 3 breaths. This alone will activate your parasympathetic nervous system, begin to lower cortisol, modulate heart rate variability. You're essentially doing Tai Chi in embryonic form.
Stand still. Slow your transitions. Breathe down. I'm going to put that on a wall somewhere. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something personal. You've been practicing since you were 7. Your grandfather taught you. What does Tai Chi mean to you now that it perhaps didn't mean when you were a child learning it?
When I was 7, it was just what my grandfather did in the garden every morning before the sun got hot. I didn't understand it, I just copied his hands. Now, after 37 years and 2 degrees and hundreds of patients, I understand that he was teaching me how to pay attention. Not to him, not to the form, to myself. And I think that's the most urgent thing the world needs right now. Not more stimulation, not more optimization, just the capacity to be present in your own body, in this moment, without forcing anything.
That's a beautiful place to land. David, this has been one of my favorite conversations on this show. Thank you for bridging these two worlds so generously.
It's a privilege. Keep asking the hard questions, Gary.
If today's episode sparks something you knew, whether that's curiosity about Tai Chi or a new way of thinking about how your body moves and pays attention, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below or find me on Instagram at Gary Rockhide. And if you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who thinks slowly and moves slowly and needs to know that's actually the point. I'm Gary Chen. Until next time, together we find balance in one.